Good evening, students. How are you all? I'm sure this topic is now thorough with everyone. And today we are going to add more variety of questions. And I'm sure with all these questions, the concepts, whatever we have discussed, are fully clear, are consolidated in your minds. To which question did we complete? I think we completed up to 16. Yes. So welcome and very good evening, Gayatri, Sridhar, Surinder, Maithili, everybody. Very good evening. Now, if anybody has questions, you may first raise your questions before I proceed with the further question bank. Yes, students, your questions, please. Yes, very good evening, Kashish, Karan. Yes, Avijit. Avijit, you may unmute and speak. Abhijit has put a question. He says ABC Private Limited in Delhi buys a machine for their business purpose from DEF, Kolkata. They told the supplier to install the machine in Kolkata. After that, what the purchaser get in ITC is. So, beta, basically your question is about place of supply. Now, in case of place of supply, if you remember, section 10(1)(b) applies over here because it is a bill to ship to transaction. And in case of bill to ship to transaction, the place of supply is the place of the buyer, not the place of the delivery. So in this case, the place of supply in your example will be Delhi and it will be IGST. And similarly, the credit also will be available of IGST. So yes, your understanding is correct. Karan is asking, can you explain 17.5b? See, Karan, 17.5b covers those expenses which are more of personal in nature, like food, beverage, outdoor catering, healthcare, then motor vehicle taken on hire, then club membership. Now, for all these expenses which are covered in 17.5b, the first rule is as per section 17.5, ITC is blocked, which is the main provision of section 17.5. Then as an exception, it says it will be allowed only in two cases. One, where you have the same outward supply. So your outward supply is also food, beverage, like restaurant. Your outward supply is also outdoor catering. Your outward supply is also healthcare. Your outward supply is also hiring, leasing of motor vehicle. In those cases, credit will be allowed. Second, where you are using these input services for your own consumption, that is within your business, for your employees, then the provision says ITC will be allowed if providing these facilities to your employees is an obligation under some law. Only then the ITC will be allowed. Is this clear? Perfect. Monisha, beta, we are having our session on problem solving. So right now we are completing last 2-3 sums of ITC. Then I'm going to go to the comprehensive sums on computation of GST. Yes, students. Should we proceed? And question number 17. What is the question? So Comfortable Private Limited is registered in the state of Odisha. It is engaged in the business of manufacturing of iron and steel products, and it has received IT engineering services from ICAI Infotech for rupees 11 lakhs, excluding 18% of GST. So GST is separate. Invoice for the service was issued on 5th of November. Now, Comfortable made part payment of 420 on 30th of November. Being unhappy with the services provided, it did not make the balance payment. Deficiency in service was made good by the company on 15th April of next financial year. And the Comfortable Limited made payment on 6th July. Examine the availability of ITC with Comfortable in respect of IT services rendered by it from Hi-Fi. Yes, students. So this question is basically targeting what? It is on which aspect, students? Yes. Which aspect is covered here, students? Which provision we have to address to? So here, if you read what is the nature of input service, so there is no blocking under 17.5. So this question has no relevance of 17.5. Then the relevance is of section 16 only. Now within 16, if you recall, proviso to section 16.2 says that wherever you have received input service on credit, you should have made payment within 180 days from the date of invoice. Yes, very good, Maithili, very good, Nikunj. And after 180 days, if you do not make the payment, then to the extent to which the payment is not made, you have to reverse the ITC and you have to re-avail the ITC whenever the payment is made. Now, your invoice is of 5th November. So 5th November, you have to count 180 days. Now, how will count 180 days? Now in November, you are left with 25 days after 5. Then December 31, Jan 31, Feb. This is which financial year? Okay. If it is not 24, then it is not a leap year. Anyways, it will not be 24. So it will be 28 days of Feb. Correct? So how many days are these? 62, 28 is 90, 105. March, April. After 105, you have 61 more. So 166. Now how much is left is 14 for 180 days. So on 14th May, 180 days is completing. Correct? So the rule is, since on 14th of May, 180 days is completing, you have to reverse proportionate ITC. Now, how much ITC you have to reverse? So out of 11, you have made a payment of 420. So what is the balance? So the balance is 680. So whatever is the proportionate ITC on 680, this you have to reverse on 14th of May, and then on 6th July, you have to re-avail. This is what is the implication of this question. Is this clear, students? Is this understood by all? Should we proceed? Diwan and Sons of New Delhi place order for 250 kgs of plastic granules at rupees 50 per kg excluding GST on Mr. Karim, Noida, UP. Karim has agreed to deliver the goods at the warehouse of Diwan. While the order was getting packed at the factory of Karim, Diwan got an order from Shubh Kamna, UP. In order to save on transportation costs, Mr. Diwan asked Karim to directly deliver the plastic granules to Shubh Kamna at its godown located in Hapur. Accordingly, Mr. Karim has delivered the plastic granules at the godown of Shubh Kamna. Examine the availability of ITC with Mr. Diwan and Karim. All the parties are registered. So, what is the challenge involved over here? The challenge is Mr. Diwan has placed the order. However, it will not be receiving the goods. The goods will be directly dispatched to another registered person, Shubh Kamna. Now the question is, if the goods are not received by Diwan but delivered directly to Shubh Kamna, whether Diwan will be eligible for ITC. Yes, students, whether Diwan will be eligible for ITC. Yes, very good. So as per explanation to section 16(2)(b), in case of bill to ship to transactions, even though the goods are not actually received by the recipient or the buyer, but they are dispatched to a third party on the specific instruction of the buyer, the ITC will still be allowed to the buyer. Next, Paritosh, a supplier of goods, pays GST under regular scheme. It has made following outward supplies: intra, inter. It also has the following information on purchases: intra, inter, and the company has following opening balance. Okay, so you are required to compute the minimum GST payable in cash by Paritosh. Okay, chalo, I'll do it here itself just to save our time. Now this is intra-state supply, 10 lakhs. So C and S is your output liability, 90, 90. And this is interstate supply. So your output liability is IGST, correct? How much it will be? 144. Right? Perfect. Now they have made purchases intrastate. So now this is relating to ITC, CGST, SGST. So this is 27, this is 27. And on 250, it will be how much? 45. Perfect. Plus you have these opening balances, correct? Now, how do we solve? If you remember, output, liability, IGST, CGST, SGST, and then input tax credit. What are your liabilities? Your liabilities are 144,90,90. What is your ITC? So opening is 140 and 45. So it is, so this is 185, correct? Then opening is 57 and 27 for CGST. 57, 27, 84, and then 60 and 27. 87. Now, as a rule, we have to utilize this first against this. So I will utilize 144, correct? Now still how much is left? I'm left with 41,000. Now what is the rule? You have to check where you have less balance. You have less balance here, but how much less? Only 3,000 as compared to this. So it is not that there is much less a balance. So I will utilize the balance. You can even utilize it equally. It will make no much difference. But it is better that I utilize 3,000 more in case of CGST so that my SGST and CGST balance is equal. But still, even if you utilize equally, it will be fine. So how much I am left with? I am left with 41. 2,500. So let us say I utilize here 22. So I'm left with 19, right? We could have utilized equally also, students, not a problem. Now, out of 84, now out of 90, I have already utilized 22. So I'm left with 68. And out of 84, if 68 is gone, what is left as balance is 16. Again, I have 87 balance here. Out of 90, 19 is gone. So how much is left? 71. Correct? Now after utilizing 71 here, how much is left? 16. And amount payable by cash, ledger, nil, nil, nil. I hope this is clear to all students. Students, is it clear to all? Maithili, you can ask your question.
Yes, sir. If we can allocate the IGST to CGST only 6,000 and the SGST to only 3,000, so the balance is having in IGST. So in that manner, we
That
can
is not
speak,
allowed,
sir.
na beta. You cannot have balance in IGST. What does the rule
Okay.
says? You have to completely exhaust IGST. You cannot proceed further without exhausting IGST. You cannot carry forward IGST balance, beta.
Okay. Okay, sir. One.
Yes.
Whether we can allocate equally or we can allocate as per proportionate for ITC available in CGST and SGST. Correct, sir.
But I have done that only, and I have not allocated equally, na.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can
Okay, sir.
allocate differently also. There is no restriction on how you can allocate.
Yes, sir. After consuming all the IGST, then we can move to CGST and SGST.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yes, students. No further doubts in this? Sure. Now we are moving to a different set of questions. Now these questions are on computing the entire GST liability. So these you can say are somewhat like comprehensive sums. Now for these comprehensive sums, we'll have to have a proper reading of the question so that we can have a proper understanding developed for this particular type of sum, right? ठीक है. So let us start. Messrs. Q10 Co Partnership Firm registered supplier in Bangalore has provided following information for the month of October. Intrastate taxable supply of direct selling agent service to public sector bank, rent paid to a residential dwelling taken for running an office for providing DSA service, then purchases a car for the office use of managing partners, then avail information technology services for their businesses. Okay. Provided training and performance appraisal. Rate is 9918. All the amounts given are exclusive. All conditions have been fulfilled. There was no opening balance of any input tax grade. The turnover of Q10 Co was 2 crore in previous financial year. Compute the net GST payable. Okay. Now, we'll have to now identify what are our output liabilities, what is our ITC for each of these supplies, correct? So let us go one by one. So first is our intrastate taxable supply of direct selling agent to public sector banks. So this is a taxable service. Pawan, where is the rule that the balance left should be equal? There is no such rule. In fact, if you see, my opening balance is not equal now of CNS. This itself shows that there is no need that my balance of CNS should be equal. Right, Pawan? Yes. Chalo, tell me one by one. You are acting as a DSA to public sector bank. So this creates output liability. So I will write IGST, CGST, SGST outward. Now this is intrastate. So it will be 22.5, 22.5. Correct, students? Next, rent paid to a residential dwelling taken for running an office for providing DSA service. Now this is our inward service. Now for this inward service, what is the rule? Yes, students. Do you recall anything? Now this is, you have taken a residential dwelling on rent. So whether something clicks to you. Very good, Dhanlakshmi. Good, Nikunj. So is exemption not applicable? Is there exemption or not for this? $50,000? Nikunj, where is this 50,000 limit? Where is this 50,000 coming from, Nikunj? Students, my question is, whether renting of residential dwelling is exempt or not. Why not, Anil? Maithili, why you are saying not allowed? My question is whether it is exempt or taxable. Because if it is exempt, then there will be no GST. Yes, Anil, you are saying exemption is not applicable. Why? Because Sridhar says it is exempt. Others are still thinking, Pavan, why it is taxable? Residential dwelling. We have read something in exemption. Very good, Kashish. Very good, Amit. So it is taxable, students. It is not exempt. Because it is not used for residence. So when you read the exemption entry, what is the requirement? Residential dwelling for residential purpose is exempt. Here, is it used for residential purpose? No. It is for running your office. So it is taken for commercial purpose. So firstly, it is not exempt. And secondly, as was pointed out at the inception itself by Dhanlakshmi, this particular service is under RCM. Yes, Anil, you are also right. So firstly, it is not exempt. Why? Because it is not for residence. So it is not exempt. It is taxable, and it is taxable to us only under RCM. So we have to pay tax under RCM. Correct? So what is the tax liability? I think somebody has given me the tax liability also. Vaishnav Beda, there is no condition of body corporate over here. Somebody else also mentioned body corporate. That is not here. Body corporate condition was in case of security services. This word was also used in case of sponsorship services. This word of body corporate condition was also used in case of, if I'm not making a mistake, hiring of motor vehicle. But here in case of renting, there is no such condition. Correct? Now, interestingly, I have to pay tax under RCM. So this is both. This is my inward also, that is ITC is also available for this. So here I'm writing down what are my ITC. So this is my ITC also, plus this is my outward also. Students, I hope you understand this. Correct? So first I'll pay tax under RCM and then I will claim ITC. Yes, Nikoch, it will be available in the same month. Next, purchase of motor car. So again, this is your inward and it is for official use of managing partners of firm for business use. So your partners are going to use this motor car in business. So you have purchased this motor car. Very good, Pavan. Yes, Nikunj, you are correct. So Dhanlakshmi, further what? Yes, Nikunj, correct. Surinder, right, give me section. Dhanlakshmi, right, give me section. No, Mahek. Maithili, it is taxable, but now here it is our inward supply. So we have to talk about ITC availability. Very good, Karan. Correct, Sridhar. So it is inward supply, but ITC is not available. I think it is interstate, na? Yes. So I will write in the IGST column, ITC is not available. Why? Because it is blocked under section 17.5. Correct, students? Yes, Vedant, you're right. Dhanlakshmi, the section number is wrong. It is section 17.5. Maithili, what is not understood, Veda? Please ask your question with detail so that I can explain you what is not understood to you. You can unmute, beta.
Sir, the car was purchased for official use, and then it is interstate purchase only. Then how it is blocked, sir? It is for office use only.
So beta 17.5, whether it has blocking of motor vehicle or not.
Yes, sir, blocking.
So then why there is a confusion, beta? We studied in the previous two class, na?
Yes, sir.
Then what do you remember of that of the previous two class? You forgot
So
this.
there is
Tell me.
no passenger limit is given, sir.
Sorry?
Passenger limit are not given.
So beta, please make a logical assumption. Na? If it is a motor car, what will be the passenger limit? You tell me. What is the maximum passenger limit of a motor car?
Yes, 4 or 5 or 3.
Simple. So you know what is the passenger capacity. Now tell me what is your answer.
Okay. Yes, sir, block.
Why?
Understood.
Why block?
Because it is comes under blocking section 17 under section 15.
Not 15,
Subsection 15.
17.5a. And it is not used for any of these three businesses. And the passenger capacity is not 13 plus. So since it is
Yes.
not falling in any of the exceptions of 17.5, hence it is covered in 17.5 and ITC is blocked.
Okay, yes,
Correct?
sir, understood. Yes, sir.
Somebody asked me whether what? Dhanna Lakshmi, I've already uploaded this. You can just check. I hope you all also got the previous ITC notes and the solved part. Yes, students, did you get the ITC notes and the solutions? What I did in the previous two classes. This also I have uploaded today evening only. So you may just check if it is available. ITC I had uploaded yesterday. So just confirm if you all have got the ITC notes, both the provision notes, that is this one, plus the handwritten one where I have solved the various questions. Ayushi, it's not available on the portal. Ayushi is saying no. Students, please check and confirm because from my side, I have uploaded. Students, please confirm. I'm not getting any response, students. Somebody says there are notes and assignment uploaded. Yes, so that's what I'm asking. So have you all checked that? The notes and assignments which I've uploaded. Please check. Okay. In the meantime, I'll proceed. Okay. So working would, if it is there, it is in the assignment and the theory part, like this type of notes is in the notes part. Correct? Okay. Chalo. So third item done. Fourth, avail information technology services for the business from partner's friend Alan Waugh from Melbourne, Australia. Mr. Waugh refused to take any consideration. Open market value of the said service was 125. Interstate transaction. Now tell me what will happen of this. What is special about this? Firstly, it is your inward side, correct? Okay, Pavan says and Dhanlakshmi both says it is import of service. Okay, agreed. So whether I have to pay GST on this under RCM again? But remember one thing, he has not taken any consideration. So it is import, but without consideration. If it is import without consideration, whether it will be a supply or not, because until unless anything is a supply, there will be no GST under forward or reverse charge. Pavan says supply. Okay. So Dhanlakshmi, I did not get your answer. Gayatri says it is deemed supply. Surinder says it is deemed supply. Okay. Students, this is import of service, fine. It is without consideration, so we have to check Schedule 1. Now, if you recall Schedule 1, in Schedule 1, the last point is for import of service, but over there, it is taxable as deemed supply under Schedule 1 only if it is from a related person. Do you remember this? So, this particular import of service, which is without consideration, is not satisfying the condition of Schedule 1. You want me to open Schedule 1? The importation of service for consideration, whether or not in the course of business, this is for consideration. And now we come to deemed supply, which is without consideration. In this, you have again import of service. So import of service without a consideration is also deemed to be a supply. But when it is from a related person or from your own establishment outside India, that is your own branch outside India. Now, this is import of service, agreed. But is it from a related person or your own branch outside? Answer is no. If that is the case, is it satisfying the conditions of Schedule 1? Answer is no. And if it is not satisfying the conditions of Schedule 1, that is deemed supply, in that case, there will be no GST applicable because it is not a supply. And if no GST applicable, no question of paying tax under RCM or FCM. So this should have been under RCM, right? But it is no supply, hence no RCM. So nothing here. Nothing here. Correct? I hope this point is clear to you all students. Good. See, this is what we have to be very careful when we are solving GST. So small points will make a big difference, but I'm happy that at least you all recalled that import of service is under Schedule 1. So at least some of you said कि it should be a Schedule 1 deemed supply. So at least that is good. ठीक है, you all did not recall this minute condition that it should be from a related person. That is okay. But now I'm sure after this particular question adjustment, this will be cemented in your minds, and now you'll never forget that whenever you are checking import of service and it is without consideration, you have to check whether it is from a related person or from your own branch or establishment outside. Now, fifth point, provided training and performance appraisal services in Bangalore to following persons. ABC Private Limited, a registered supplier in the state of Kerala, and Babu owns a proprietary concern Rajasthan, which was not registered under GST. So now this is your outward supply. Now for your outward supply, what you have to check? You have to check the applicability of tax. That is, you have to check POS. So you yourself are registered in Bangalore. Now, when you are providing this training services to another company, which is also situated in the same state, that is Karnataka, Bangalore, you will charge C plus S. But where the company is situated in another state, you will charge IGST. So, it is provided, sorry, it is training and performance appraisal services, and the services are provided in Bangalore. Now, for training and performance appraisal services, if you remember section 12 of the IGST Act, you will recall that if it is given to a registered person, then the place of supply is the location of the recipient. But where it is given to unregistered person, the place of supply is the place of performance. So here POS is equal to location of recipient. Here POS is equal to location of performance. So here it is Kerala, correct? And here, since you have provided the services in Bangalore, the place of performance is Bangalore. I hope this is clear to you all. Why this is important, so we can decide whether we have to charge C plus S or I. Now on 3 lakhs, you will be charging IGST, so 18 3s are 54. And on 1 lakh, since it is in Bangalore itself, the place of supply, so it will be C plus S, so 99%. Correct? Now, after you have identified this, now you have to solve. Oh, 1 second, students. Okay, in the meantime, you can at your end start solving, please. I'm just giving you this sheet again. Okay. So computation of GST liability. Question 1. So first is computation of output liability. So it will be particulars ICS. Correct. So we have one in point number 5 and we have in point number 1. So 1, we have to write the narration, whatever it is, and CNS 22,500, 22,500. Then you have 2. This is the RCM liability. 2.25, 2.25. And then in 5, you have 2 liabilities. One is POS is Kerala. One is POS is Bangalore. Kerala 54. Bangalore 9. Now just pay attention what I'm doing. Total output liability excluding RCM. And then output liability RCM. I'm just writing it separately, why you will understand. So my first figure is excluding this. Why I'm excluding this, that I'll let you know. You'll understand. So 54, 9 and 22 is 31. Then I have 2250 for RC. Correct? Right. Now next is computation of ITC. Again, particulars ICS. So firstly, I'll write 2, same RCM. This is my ITC, right? Then I will write 3, saying it is blocked under section 17.5A. Then I 4, import of service. No supply since import of service is without consideration and it is not from a related person or own establishment outside. Hence, no RC. Done. Are there opening balances? No, no opening balances. Okay, so my total ITC so students, it is a straightforward point. I have no IGST, ITC, I have CNS only. So I will utilize it again CNS. So what will be my computation of GST liability. Output tax ICS output liability excluding RCM 31,500 31,500. Now from this input tax credit, IGST is nil. I have CGST. Now what is the rule? If you have no IGST or IGST is exhausted, now when you use CGST, which is 2250, you can use it here, but you have to first use it against CGST and you cannot use it here. Similarly, after using IGST and CGST, last comes SGST. You can use it here, but you have to first use it against this only. Now, balance output liability. This is 54. This is 31,500. This is 31,500 plus RCM liability. Now you'll add the RCM amount here again. Why? Because RCM is always to be paid in cash. So while knocking off ITC, I have not considered here the amount of RCM liability, and that is why here I computed a liability in two parts. One is excluding RCM and then RCM. Why? Because here, while setting off ITC, I cannot set off ITC against RCM liability. RCM has to be compulsorily paid in cash. So here I will consider only this liability which is without RCM. And then whatever is my RCM, I will add it separately here so that it automatically gets paid in cash. So this is the amount payable by cash ledger. So 54, 33,750, 30%. So students, this is the whole computation. And this is how you have to find out the answers. So I hope this RCM point is clear to everyone. Acha. Okay, sorry. Yes. Maithili, thank you. Yes, Nikunj. Students have not subtracted this 250. Thank you for pointing it out. So my liability is 29,250. After adjusting this, and then again it becomes 31,500. Correct? Is this clear to all students? So this is the final computation. Clear to all? Should we take up the next one? Chalo. This is question 3. I'll first take up question 3. You can just read this first. It is same like the previous sum. The tax rates are 9,918 for inward outward, except the car rental and service of transportation of GTA, because car rental and GTA is at 5%. All amounts are given exclusive of tax and there is no opening balance. Correct? Now, students, I give you 5-10 minutes. Chalo. You can take a screenshot of this. Maithil is asking why we not utilize ITC for RCM, and then Lakshmi is asking whether RCM output needs to be paid through cash ledger only. So see, both your questions have same answer. The rule is RCM always has to be paid by cash. It cannot be paid by using ITC. Otherwise, see, RCM liability and RCM ITC both will get knocked off. So there is no point of giving RCM. So RCM is such that you have to pay it through cash ledger only. That is why we show RCM liabilities separately. I hope Maitri and Dhanlakshmi, you got your answers. Correct? Good. But if I zoom the question, it will not fit on the screen. So you take a screenshot and then you can zoom. Now I can zoom the question, no problem, but then it will not fit in your screen. So Surya is engaged in providing a bouquet of goods and services, including service of renting of car. It is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. It provides the following information for the month of Jan. Chalo. I give you 5 minutes. Some are saying, sir, please zoom. We'll take 2 screenshots. Okay, chalo, I'll zoom it. You take 2 screenshot. First is of first 4 pointers from here. Chalo, take a screenshot. Right? Done. The next 5. Done. Chalo. Try to apply the provisions, whatever you recall, because it is important that first you apply your understanding logics. Pawan, you are saying for which one? Okay, no problem. Okay, you can make notings at your end. You may not put it immediately in chat. When we discuss at that time, you may put it. First, try to complete maximum of these points with respect to output liability, with respect to RCM. Chalo. Should I take up? Yes, we start discussing, students. First one, what have I done in first case? In first case scenario, acha, so firstly, who is the service provider or who is the taxable person? It is Surya. who is engaged in providing bouquet of goods and services, including service of renting of car. It is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. It provides following information. So first, it has organized exhibition. So 1 second. This is my output liability, ICS, and this is my ITC, ICS. The first one is my outward liability, where I have organized a business exhibition for a person who is registered in Gujarat. So it will be interstate or intrastate. So as per POS provisions, it will be interstate supply. So I will be charging IGST on this. And for 20 lakhs at the rate of 18%, the IGST comes to 360. Yes, correct. Very good. So majority of you have given me the same answer. Second, I have provided accommodation services to 10 CA students from outside Rajasthan in the hostel. Okay. Now, question is, firstly, understand my question. Whether hostel accommodation is taxable or exempt, students. Hostel accommodation is taxable or exempt under GST. Okay, ठीक है. 1,000 per day, Pawan. Which period you are talking about? Sridhar, where is this 1,000 coming from? It is old, very old limit. Students, you are forgetting. In exemption chapter, there is a specific exemption for hostel. What is the condition? If the hostel is given for a minimum period of 90 days. So minimum period for which the hostel accommodation should be given should be 90 days. And the per month per student charge should not be exceeding 20,000. When both these conditions are satisfied, it is exempt. Now your one condition is satisfied because it is beyond 90 days, because they are saying they are giving it for a minimum period of 4 months, so automatically it will cross 90 days. But another condition, that the per month per student charge should not be exceeding 20,000, is not satisfied. And because of this, since the amount is exceeding 20,000, you are not eligible for the exemption. So that 1,000 per day rule is not applicable over here. First point. Second point, Dhanlakshmi said taxable because he's not education institution. You are correct. But besides education institution, for anybody who is running a hostel, there is an exemption which I just mentioned. So if Dhanalakshmi, you would have been education institution, then irrespective of amount and period, everything was exempt for education institution. You are correct. But if you are not an education institution, still hostel services provided to students, provided to working professionals is exempt with these two conditions. One, minimum 90 days stay, and two, per month amount should not exceed 20,000 per person. Now here, since it is exceeding, the exemption is missed. Correct? Now, for this supply, what is the place of supply? That is whether it will be C plus S or I. So once we have concluded it is taxable, now you have to decide whether it is C plus S or I. Surinder, beta, which amount you are talking about? I'm not getting this amount. Huh? Very good, everyone. So since this is accommodation, and accommodation is dealing with immovable property. For immovable property, as per section 12 bracket 3, The place of supply is always the place of immutable property. So it is C plus S. So on 220, I have to calculate 9%. So it will be 10% is 22,000 minus 1 is 2. Yes, beta. Maithili. Maithili,
Yes, sir. So
tell me.
first one is place supply. Both places are Gujarat only, sir. So
How
why
come?
I
How come both places are Gujarat? Where is the location
organize
of
a
supplier, beta?
business organize a business exhibition in Gujarat for gymnast industries, registered in Surat, Gujarat.
So who is registered in Surat, Gujarat? The recipient, that is Jignesh Industry. So POS is
Yes, sir.
Gujarat. Now where is the
Yes,
location of supplier? Who is supplier?
Rajasthan.
Supplier is Surya. Where is Surya
Yes,
registered?
yes, sir. Okay, okay, sir.
So Surya is registered in Rajasthan. So it will be IGST only.
Yes, sir.
Okay, students, second part clear to everyone, right? Now, third item, again dealing with exemption. You have performed a music, which is Carnatic music. Now, in this particular case, Aditya beta, now you are asking me why hostel is not exempt. I think I already mentioned at the start why it is not exempt. Where were you at that time? I gave you two conditions for exemption, and out of that, one is not satisfied, hence it is not exempt. So, where are you? Yes, coming to third one. So, you have performed Carnatic music. Now, if you remember, students, yes, rightly pointed out by Nikunj, it is a folk music. So, yes, again, rightly pointed out by Pawan that also the amount should be less than 1.5 lakhs. So, both conditions are being satisfied. That one, it is performance in some art form or folk music form. And two, the amount is not exceeding 150. So, both requirements of exemption are satisfied. But yes, very, very good. Vedant has pointed out, however, there is a problem. The problem is you are performing this to promote a brand. Now, if you remember, there is an exception to this exemption. So, first, what is the exemption? Two conditions. One, it should be some art form like music, dance, etc., in folk or in classical. So, this first condition is satisfied that it is music and it is in classical or it is in traditional form. Two, the amount should not exceed 150. That is also satisfied. The amount is only 145. So you have satisfied both conditions for exemption. But there is one exception in the exemption that it should not be performed as a brand ambassador. Now you are performing it. Why? To promote a brand of ready-made garments. So indirectly you are performing it in the capacity as a brand ambassador. And the moment you do it, exemption is withdrawn or exemption is not allowed. So again, same like your previous case of hostel, you miss the exemption because of one small condition that is you have performed this as a brand ambassador. So very good, Vedant rightly pointed out that since it is performed as a brand ambassador, you are not eligible for the exemption. Now comes the next point, whether this is CGST, SGST or IGST. What will be the nature of tax? Yes. Now, what is the service? The service is performance of smart form. So here you have to check whether your recipient is registered or not. And if the recipient is registered, the location of the recipient. Now your recipient is Wrigley Garments, who is registered, and the recipient is registered in Rajasthan. Supplier is also registered in Rajasthan. So since both location of supplier and place of supply falls in Rajasthan, it is a C plus S. So both things, first exemption denied because of one small condition of being a brand ambassador, and two, the place of supply is the place of the recipient, which is in the same state. So you charge C plus S at the rate of 9% each. Yes, very good, everyone. So everyone has correctly identified this. So how much amount is given? Aditya says it is 13050. Okay. Okay. So others have also confirmed this amount. Perfect. Moving forward. Now the fourth one. What is the fourth service? It is intrastate services provided as a business correspondent of Money Bank, registered in Rajasthan with respect to accounts in Rajasthan city. Again, students, is there any exemption for acting as a business correspondent for a bank? Is there any exemption, students? If we act as a business correspondent for a bank, very good, Pavan. No, beta Dhanalakshmi. See, acting as a business correspondent for a bank is eligible for exemption, provided it is for the rural branch of that bank. That is, it is promoting the business of the bank in a rural area. Now here, you are doing it for what? In respect of accounts in the Jaipur city branch, not in respect of its rural branch. And hence, again, this exemption is not allowed. First point. Now, second point, Mehek again has identified an interesting point. Key whether RCM is applicable. The answer is no, because what is covered in RCM is not this service for bank, but it is for the recovery agent service. So not all services received by bank is under RCM. So since we are not providing the service of recovery agent, Mehek, hence this will not be exempt. Understood, students? So this is a taxable service. Why? Because it is not for the promotion of a rural branch. This service would have been exempt had it been for promotion of its rural branch. So it is not exempt, it is taxable. Also, it is not under RCM because the service which is under RCM is a different service. It is the bank recovery agent service. We are not here recovery agent. So we are also not falling in RCM, right? But good. It is good that you are recalling many of the things. So this is taxable. Again, where is the bank registered? The bank is registered in Rajasthan. So it becomes a C plus S service again. So 18%, no, 9 and 9. So then 9 and 9 of 120. Okay, Aditya says it is 10,800. Also confirmed by others. By Sridhar Nikunj, that is 10,800. Okay. Next. You have given on rent a commercial property in Jaipur, Rajasthan to Ganga Limited, a supplier of goods and services registered in Jodhpur. Surya is a director in Ganga. Okay. So is it taxable? Is it exempt? The first question, whether renting of commercial property is exempt? The answer is no. There is no such exemption, correct? So firstly, there is no exemption for renting of commercial property. Now comes the second point, whether it is under RCM. The answer is no. There is no RCM applicable over here. Had it been to government, maybe we could have considered RCM, but here RCM is not applicable. Is this clear? Now comes an interesting point. Here, the supplier of the service, that is Surya, is also a director in the company to which this property is given on rent. Now comes the question that where director provides services to a company that is under RCM. So now whether it will be under RCM because Surya, who is the owner of the property, that is a service provider, is providing renting service to its own company. So when a director is providing services to a company, it is under RCM. We know this. So now because of this reason, whether it will be under RCM. Students, I'm waiting for your response. Kunj, but that is not a condition. Na? Director, whether registered or unregistered, makes no difference. Director services to its company are under RCM. Simple. This is the rule. Now I'm asking whether this service will be under RCM. So Maithili says no. Mehak says yes. Surya, your justification is not correct, so I'm not considering your answer. I clarified, Nikunj, that here, in case of director service, there is no condition of registered and unregistered. Okay. So students, answer me. Director giving a property on rent to its own company, whether it will fall under the RCM of director service to company. So there is a RCM, we all know that director service to company is under RCM. Then Lakshmi, again, but your reasoning is not correct. Same reasoning Nikunj had given and I had already clarified. In case of director service, there is no condition of being registered or unregistered. Even if director is registered, the director service will fall under RCM. So if you give this reasoning to me, this reasoning will not give you marks. Whether correct or incorrect, that is the next point. But the reasoning is wrong, so marks 0. Students, whether this service of giving property on rent by director to companies under RCM, the answer is no. Because the RCM notification applies to the services of director. So as director, you have to run the company, you have to manage the company. When director is providing services other than in the capacity as director, like here, is providing service of a property owner. There is a circular, if you remember, which clarifies this, that director service given to its own company where the service is in the capacity as a director, not in the capacity as, like in this case, property owner, or let us say the director is also professional. So some professional services are given by director. All those services given by director will not be under RCM. Only the services given by director as director in the capacity of a director means what? The services of directorship. So as a director, you run the company, you manage the company, and for which the company pays you director's remuneration. So even in your accounts, you write it as director's remuneration. Only the director's remuneration amount is covered under the RCM, not any other service given by the director. So this will not be covered under RCM. Is this clear, students? I hope now it is understood. Right? So this is taxable to Surya under forward charge. Again, correct? Okay, so amounts are also given to me by Sridhar and Maithili. So it is C plus S, and at the rate of 9%, it will be 27,000. 27,000. Next. Now, Surya has sponsored a business summit organized in Bikaner, Rajasthan by Associated Chamber of Commerce, and he has paid a sponsorship service. Now, this is an inward service for Surya. So, what is the inward service? Sponsorship service. Now, for this, whatever is the GST paid, we have to check whether ITC is available. But before that, since this is sponsorship service, if you remember, for sponsorship, there is also RCM. So we have to check whether this inward service of Surya is under RCM. That is whether Surya is required to pay tax on this inward service under RCM. Yes, students, tell me whether Surya is required to pay tax on these services under RCM. Because if it is under RCM, I'll have to include it in both columns, outward liability also and ITC also. If it is not under RCM, then we'll have to only put it in the ITC. So try to recall, sponsorship service is under RCM. Yes, it is under RCM. Now the question is, so here whether Surya is required to pay tax under RCM. Pavan Beda, you have given me the reasoning, but you have given me wrong answer. If your reasoning is this, then the answer should be different. Very good, Gayatri. Perfect. Yes, others. So Dhanlakshmi, what is your answer? Students, the answer is, as correctly pointed out by Gayatri, that in case of sponsorship service or being covered under RCM, what is the requirement? The requirement is the provider should not be a body corporate, but the recipient should be a body corporate or a partnership firm. Then RCM will apply. Here, the recipient, that is Surya, is not a body corporate, not a partnership firm, but it is an individual. Since the recipient is an individual, it will not be covered under RCM. Had Surya been a body corporate, then maybe we could have considered this under RCM. But since Surya is not a body corporate, it is not under RCM. So there is no output liability to be paid by Surya under RCM on this service. Now the question comes, whether of this inward service Surya can avail ITC, whether ITC is allowed. Maithili beta, it is not RCM. I just gave you the reason. Because for being under RCM, the recipient of the service, who is Surya here, should be body corporate or a partnership firm. Surya is neither of the two. So RCM not applicable. Now my question, whether ITC is allowed. So you are availing sponsorship service. This is your inward service. You will be paying GST on it. Whether you can take ITC of that GST paid. Sridhar says no. Aditya also says no. What is the reason why ITC is not allowed, Sridhar and Aditya? You have to give reasoning also. Simply saying yes or no is not sufficient, especially if you are saying no. You have to tell me whether any condition of 16 is not satisfied or whether you are blocked in 17.5. What is the reason why you are saying no? Yes, why you are saying no? The answer is there is no blocking. So as correctly mentioned by Dhanlakshmi, ITC will be allowed because there is no blocking, and the tax which is charged is C plus S because the supplier is also in Rajasthan. We, Surya, the recipient is also in Rajasthan. So it is a C plus S service, and on this service, Surya will be eligible to claim ITC. Correct? So at the rate of 9,000, it will come to 45. Right? Next, received service of transportation of goods. Transportation of goods means GTA by road for Sindhu Transporter and Unregistered Transport Agency. Now, this particular service of transportation by a GTA, first question, whether it is taxable or exempt. Second question, if taxable under RCM or FCM. And third, since it is our inward service, whether we are eligible to take ITC. Aditya beta, GTA is exempt where the recipient is unregistered. Here, who is unregistered? The supplier is unregistered. Here, the GTA is unregistered. So, exemption does not apply. So, first point, exemption is not applicable because when exemption applies when the recipient is not a registered person. But we, that is Surya, is a registered person. So, even if supplier is unregistered, that makes no difference. So, firstly, exemption is not applicable. Now, the second question, whether it is under RCM or FCM, it is very much under RCM. And third question, whether I can avail ITC, answer is yes. Nikunj beta, I did not get your reasoning. So ITC is available because there is no restriction on GTA service. Now this is under RCM. So I have to include it on both sides. Also, RCM at the rate of 5%. So 10,000, 10,000, because the GTA is also from Rajasthan and the place of supply is also Rajasthan. Also, I will be getting ITC of 10,000. Correct? I hope students this is clear, understood by everyone. Now, Surya has taken car on rental from Ajay Limited. First question, is it exempt? Second, is it under RCM? Third, whether ITC is available. Yes, it is 2,500 or 2.5%. Correct. That is correct. So it won't be 10,000. It will be 5 and 5. I wrongly took 5% on each side. So it will be 2.5, 2.5. So it will be
Hello, sir.
5,000. Yeah.
Sir, in seventh point, this is comes under RCM. So, why, sir, input tax is available?
So
This
beta,
is
why input tax
pay.
is not available? Where it is given that input tax is not available for RCM services.
So you said RCM services we need to pay under cash.
So beta,
So
this
what
part
is
you have to pay in cash. Now the output liability you pay in cash. Input liability you set off. In fact, you forgot our previous sum. In previous sum, this ITC which I have set off is of RCM only, na? So RCM ITC is set off here, na? See
okay?
this.
Okay, only RCM output liability is
So
not.
beta, RCM has two things. Now one is it is in output also here. Second, it is an ITC also here. So there are two different points. For output, you have to pay it separately in cash. And for ITC, you have to set it off against your output liability.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I have written it in both columns. Na? I have written it in
Yes, sir.
output liability column also where you will pay it in cash. And I have written it in ITC column also where you will knock it off against your other output liability. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes, Aditya.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please tell me.
Sir, in questions, in notes, they also give only 18%, sir. But how we
Sorry,
can take
sorry, sorry,
first,
sorry, 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 sorry.
sir, in notes, in adjustment, we can only take 18% or 9%, sir. But
Beta,
for
here it is
how
given,
we,
here it is given, here it is given.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, sir, that is, okay,
For
okay.
GTA and rent a cab, it is 5.
Okay, sir, okay, I got it, sir, Clear, sir, clear.
Now, firstly, first question, is this service taxable or exempt? Second, if it is taxable, whether it is under RCM or FCM. Third, whether ITC is available. Yes. So answer is there is no exemption for car rental service. It is taxable. Second, coming to question of RCM. For RCM, the condition is that the supplier should not be a body corporate. Here, supplier is a limited. So supplier is a body corporate. So RCM not applicable. Means it is under forward charge. So I don't have to pay under RCM. Had my supplier been not a body corporate, I may have to pay under RCM. But since my supplier is a body corporate, I don't have to pay under. Mhm. Now the question of ITC available. So is ITC available? Answer is yes. So since ITC is available, now I'll calculate on this 150 again. The supplier is of Rajasthan, place of supply is Rajasthan. So it is C plus S. I have to find out 2.5, 2.5. So yes, what is the amount, students? You all give me amount so that there is no mistake at my end. Okay, Aditya has given me, Nikunj has given me. So it is 3.75. Correct. So this is the whole solving. Now you have to find out the final GST liability by finding out total output liability, total ITC, and finding out the GST liability, that is GST payable. Fine. So I'll take my 10 minutes break. In that you complete this answer. Fine, students. Hope you all have completed this. So, 1 second. Yes. So, I'll just make a total here. So, what is my total output tax? But excluding RCM, correct? So, we'll keep this 5,000 aside for the time being. So, my total is 360 for IGST. And for C and S, 21,900. So 21,900, Gayatri, is this the liability you are giving or the final tax payable? Please, beta, don't give different answers. It may unnecessary create problem. I'm asking this total. So kindly give me this total only for the time being. Again, in output, what is my RCM liability? It is 5K. What are these total, students? 7650. Okay. Now, what is the total of my ITC? So my ITC, IGST is nil. 45 plus 550 and 53, 750. Right? Yes. Now we'll go to the computation. Computation of GST liability. So output excluding RCM. Right? ICS. 360, 70, 650. Minus ITC, IGST, CGST, SGST. This is nil, plus there are no opening balances. So 53,750. I can do it here, but I'll have to first do it here. I can do it here, but I have to first do it here. So this is my balance output liability 360, and this is 17, 16, 900. Correct. To this, I will add RCM liability because it has to be paid via cash always. So it is 5,000, 5,000. So my final amount payable through cash 360 21,900 21,900. Yes, correct, Gayatri Nikunj. Anybody having any doubts, questions with any of the pointers? Lakshmi, you are saying eighth point is 13,500, but it is 5%. I think you are calculating at 18% for the 8 point. Correct? Should we proceed? Chalo. Chalo, we can take up this sum. This appears to be different. Again, here output and here IDC. Chalo, I give you 5 minutes. First, you take a screenshot so that you can at your end read it. Chalo, take a screenshot of this. Done. Yes. Done. Now of additional information also. Done. Chalo. Have you all done your assessment? Should we start? So first one, outward supply of goods made during the month to various non-related persons as given in particulars column. So first, within the state, transaction value 4 lakhs, other states transaction value 6 lakhs. Now, whenever the sale is made to unrelated person, you have to simply take the transaction value. So we will charge GST on this transaction value in both the cases. So how much is the output liability? So 4 lakhs into 9%, 9 4s are 36. So it will be 36 and 36 and 6 lakhs into 8. So it will be 1,08,000, correct? Maithili, what is 54? Next, the company pledged its 5% equity shares to the merchant banker for the purpose of proposed public offer, and here they have given you the shares value. Now the question is whether pledging of shares is covered in any supply. The answer is no. So there is no supply in case of pledging of shares. And since there is no supply, there is no question of any liability. Next, this is important. Stock transfer of goods worth rupees 58,000 without consideration. Now you have stock transferred it to your branch, which is at Gaya. And this branch is part of the registration as additional place of business. So what is the treatment, students? What is the treatment? Very good, Dhanlakshmi. Very good, Nikunj. Very good, Pavan. Mike, your reasoning is wrong. Now see, this transaction is without consideration. Now once it is without consideration, you have to check Schedule 1. And in Schedule 1, there is entry 2, which says, when you transfer goods or service without consideration to your distinct person, it will be deemed to be a supply even without consideration. Now, who's your distinct person? Your distinct person is your branch. Now, interestingly, this is also your branch. But what is important is this branch your distinct person? Answer is no. Why it is not a distinct person? Since both branches are under same GSTIN. Hence, they are not distinct person, and hence there is no deemed supply under Schedule 1. I hope you all have understood this. See, in order there to be a deemed supply, the transaction should be between either two related persons or two distinct persons. Distinct person means your own branch, but that branch should have a distinct GST number. if that branch is declared as an additional place in the same GST certificate, in that case, it is not a distinct person. And if it is not a distinct person, then the transfer between them, the stock transfer between them is not a supply under Schedule 1. Hence, since this is not a supply because they are not distinct persons, there will be no GST liability. I hope this is clear and understood by all. Now, this point is intrastate inward supply. Now, for this, you have to check whether ITC is available. So it is saying of various services for use in the course or furtherance of business. So there is no much detail. So we are assuming that these are all eligible supplies because they have not named them. Now there are total 30 invoices. However, out of 30, details of 10 invoices, of which value is 250, is not furnished by the supplier in the GSTR1. And hence it is not appearing in your 2B. Now, if it is not furnished by supplier in the GSTR1, your condition under 16(2)AA is not satisfied. So for these 10 invoices up to 250, you will not be eligible to get the ITC at least in this month, right? So in future months, whenever this will get uploaded by the supplier, you can take the ITC. But in the current month, you can take only of the balance. Now, how much is balance? So I'll subtract this 250. So for balance, it is how much? 950. Now 950, you have to compute tax at the rate of 9%, 9%. So how much it comes to students? 9% of 950. It is Gayatri and current says 85,500. So 85,500 is my ITC for the time being. CGST, SGST. Next, outward supply of service of milling of paddy into rice. Now here the question is whether milling of paddy into rice is exempt because it is agriculture. So the question to be answered over here is whether milling of paddy into rice is part of the exemption which is related to agriculture services. So Dhanlakshmi has given me one answer. Your answer is correct, Beda. What about others? Yes. Very good. Very good. So all have answered it very correctly. It is not covered in the exemption because milling of paddy into rice is not a service which is having direct connection with agriculture. It is an additional service done post harvesting. So it will not be part of exemption. Very good. And it is intrastate, so it will be 9%, 9%, 9 to 18. Next, outward supply of giving trucks on hire to government authority. Now this is interesting. When you are giving trucks on hire to government, is it exempt? Because see, whenever government comes, the question comes of exemption. Then Lakshmi, can you read that exemption since you have given the entry number? So then Lakshmi says it is exempt under 21B. Then Lakshmi, you have given me an entry 21B. So can you read that entry? Maithili, you are also saying exempt. Exempt why? You have to give me reason. It is not so easy to take exemption of anything. You have to justify your reason for the exemption. Okay. Karan, can you please read that exemption entry? Because I don't recall any such exemption entry, what you all are saying, 21B. Let me open it. Where is our exemption chapter? Charge. I think I have not taken your exemption. I have taken. You are saying 21B. See, what is the exemption? Now, many of you are referring to 21B. What is the service? Service provided by GTA by way of transport of goods in goods carriage to department or establishment of government or local authority or government agency where they have taken registration only for the purpose of deducting TDS. So this exemption of 21B applies where GTA services are provided. GTA is where you are doing transportation of goods for these people, and when they have taken registration only for the purpose of deducting TDS. Now here, what is our service? Are we giving GTA service? Firstly, my service itself is not GTA. I am giving trucks on hire. Students, please don't mix. GTA service and giving trucks on hire are two different things. The nature of service is different, the rate of GST is different, and the exemption is different. GTA is where I'm doing their transportation of goods. And giving trucks on hire means I've given them trucks. Whatever they want to do, they may do. Even if they don't use the trucks, I'll be charging because it is the rent. So see, one is you give your asset on rent. So giving your truck on rent is like giving your asset on rent. It is not GTA. GTA is where you are doing transportation for them. Here you are not doing any transportation. You have given them the trucks on rent. Let us say monthly rent of 50,000, for example. Whether you use it, you don't use it, you pay me 50,000 per month. That's it. This is what is the service. If I have to do transport, then you will pay me as per whatever goods have been transported, the distance covered, etc. And I am actually carrying your goods from one place to another. Here, the service is not a GTA service. It is merely giving your asset on rent, and the asset over here is truck. That does not make you a GTA. I hope this is clear, students. So what 21B some of you said, as I said, I don't remember 21B gives exemption. Why? Because 21B is giving exemption for GTA, not for giving trucks on rent. Correct? Students, is this clear? Should we proceed? So it is taxable. So tell me how much is 9%, because it is again intrastate, so 9%. Okay, Nikun says 13,500. Next, now you are paying an amount to IIM Ahmedabad for providing 15 days management training to 10 managers from 10 January. Now, here you have taken inward service whereby you have sent your managers to IIM Ahmedabad, and IIM Ahmedabad is charging you rupees 5 lakhs. Now, interestingly, IIM Ahmedabad is an educational institution as per the definition. Now, we have studied that whenever education institution provides any service to its students, faculty, or staff, it is fully exempt. So now, when you have sent your managers for getting 10 days training, for which they are going to provide participation certificates, whether this particular service given by IIM Ahmedabad is taxable or exempt. Very good, Nikunj. So whether the service given by IIM Ahmedabad is taxable or it is exempt. Very good, Gayatri. So students, the answer is it is taxable because even though IIM Ahmedabad is an education institution by definition, but the service which it is giving is not leading to any certificate, degree. And if you remember in the definition itself, only when you are providing curriculum which is leading to a degree, only that is exempt. Here they are only going to provide you a certification for participation. So there is no degree given by IIM to you. Since no degree is given, hence there is no exemption. It is taxable. And since I am the Ahmedabad registered in Gujarat, you are in Bihar, so it will be IGST at the rate of 18%. So it 5s are 40, so 90,000. Correct? The next, air tickets. You purchase air tickets for your employees from Patna to Guwahati, Assam airport in economy class. Total fare is 1 lakh, out of which basic fare is 80,000. So, what is 90,000? What is 90,000 students? This 90,000, okay. Yes, I have already written. Now, what about this? Air tickets for your employees from Patna to Guwahati. Rule 32. Sridhar, where you have gone to Rule 32? Why you have gone there? Dhanlakshmi, we are employer, we are availing that input service. We have to decide whether it is eligible for ITC or not. But as correctly pointed out by Gayatri, before that, we have to determine whether this service is taxable or exempt. Now see, services of transport by air in economy class, embarking from or terminating in airports located in Arunachal, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Bagdora in West Bengal. So if any of these places you are traveling, then that particular air ticket of economy class is exempt. So as rightly pointed out by Gayatri, this inward service is exempt. Since it is exempt, there is no question of GST. There is no question of deciding ITC eligibility. So this air travel is exempt. So no GST at all. Right? Now, all amounts given are exclusive of taxes that is earned during the course of arranging and filing documents. The accountant observed that an invoice of 30,000 dated 2nd December was omitted to be recorded in the books and no payment was made against the same till the end of January. This invoice was issued by Mr. Rahu Ketu of Patna, from whom they had taken cars on rental. Invoice included cost of fuel. Okay. Now, what is to be done for this, students? car rental service. So this is your inward service. Then Lakshmi, but 180 days we'll see later, na? It is just very fresh. It is of December and we are still in January. So in case of 180 days, the rule is we first take ITC, then we check whether in 180 days we have made a payment or not. If not, then we reverse. But first we take ITC. So here 180 days is not a challenge according to me. Challenge is something else. See, leasing, renting, hiring of motor vehicles. So when you are taking motor vehicles on lease, rent or hire, then you are eligible for ITC only when one, it is taken for providing the same type of outward service, or two, it is taken for your employees and it is a statutory obligation to provide them this service. Now in this particular case, what is the point? The point is that an invoice for 30,000 was omitted to be recorded. So Maithili, you are saying invoice is missing. Invoice is not missing. Invoice is there. You did not record it in your books. So there is no problem of there not being invoice. So invoice is there. The problem is, the mistake is you have not recorded in books. Now, this invoice, once you found it in January, you'll record it in Jan. But the question is, are you eligible to get ITC? The answer is no ITC, because it is not a statutory obligation to provide car to employees. So ITC is blocked under 17.5. Hence, the ITC of this is not available. So even though you have not recorded this invoice in December, you record it in January, but still you cannot take the ITC. Then this is regarding pledging of shares. We have already concluded this is not a supply, so this information is not required. No opening balance, fine, good, subject to information necessary. Okay. So all other pointers are done. Now we can make a total of ITC. ITC is 85, 85, 90. So my total ITC is 90 and how much? 85.5. Now, what is my liability? 108. And here it is 36 plus 18, which is 54. 54 plus 13 is 67. So it is. And in this sum, students, there is no RCM. Right? Is this clear to all? Any questions or doubts? Now, output liability excluding RCM. So ICS. How much is that? 108, 67, 500, 67, 500. Minus IGST, CGST, SGST. 90, 85, 500, 85, 500. Now, I'll first use this, and it has to be compulsorily used here. So this is done. Now I'll use this. This I have to first use here. So I do it here. Now I have a balance in this. How much is my balance? My balance is 67,500 minus 85,500. It is 18,000. And how much I have to pay here? Luckily, that is also 18. So it is exactly just matching. Now again, I have balance of 85 here. I can use 67,500 here. Correct? So my balance, which will be carried forward, is 18. So balance output liability, nil, nil, nil. And this is your balance of ITC to be taken to the next period. In this, you will add RCM liability, which is again nil in this sum. But as a format, we continue this. So this is your amount payable through cash ledger, which is again nil. Right, students? So this is our final computation. Have you understood this? Done? Clear to everyone? Yes, Aditya.
Sir, we cannot take balance of 18,000, sir, through cash ledger.
What? We cannot?
Sir,
But this is your ITC balance. It will be your opening balance in the next period. Why will you pay it? It is your balance carried down of ITC.
Okay, sir. Okay. Clear, sir. Clear.
Yes, Dhanlakshmi. Dhanlakshmi, I have unmuted you. Gayatri, fuel, there is anyways no ITC, na? Only on the car rental you will get ITC if it would have been a statutory obligation. But fuel anyways is outside GST, so no ITC of fuel. Dhanlakshmi, I have unmuted you, beta. Okay, students. I hope this is understood and clear to everyone. Right? So let us conclude our class here. So thank you very much. We connect again in the next class with more topics. And there are some sums left here. 2-3 more sums, but that will be done in a later class. There is one more class on problem solving, but it has been scheduled later. So now we have few chapters classes, and then we'll again have one more class for problem solving over there. I will be taking the remaining sums. Fine. These questions are uploaded, Dhanlakshmi. Maybe you'll get it by tomorrow. So I've uploaded today evening. You will get it by tomorrow once it is approved. Fine. So thank you, students. Thank you very, very much. Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you to you also, sir. Yeah. Good night.